Hello YouTube, this is AugustusLarch. I'm here to make a vlog on the green movement, and I'm going to call it the green rule. And that is it's my reconstruct of the golden rule, which whoever has the gold makes the rules, which is happening today on this little spinning marble we're all on, planet Gaia. That it's a similar rule as the golden rule. The green rule is whoever has the big publishing clout and willing to push an agenda makes the rules, really. And it's the same almost thing as the golden rule. Whoever has the money wants to control the money, and what a better way to do that is than to saddle everybody with internal combustion engines and petroleum electricity generation, and then they get us all on one thing, and then they pinch off the supply with mind control instruments like the green movement. And I'd like to make a shout out to Technoblix, because he's a regular viewer of my videos, and he's he's an advocate of the mainstream view that we as humans, it's a humanist principle that we're the be-all and end-all and the biggest thing going on this planet, which I don't think we can possibly compete with the 186 erupting volcanoes all over Gaia. And they always say that we're reducing the oxygen and increasing carbon dioxide. But think of what uses carbon dioxide. Everybody laments over the rainforests being taken over. But if you look in Brazil and Central Africa, really it's in mountainous regions, or like in Brazil, the Amazon basin, which really isn't the type of terrain that they can even get to at all. But then they don't consider, even if they did knock down all the trees, what about all the monocotyledon species of plants out there, meaning the grasses, which are all producing oxygen and taking in carbon dioxide, and all the algae in the ocean as well. So I mean, they don't take all this into account, really. It's kind of they've kind of fudged the numbers to make it look like, oh yeah, we might have enough oil to sustain, and there's sustain things the way they are, but now you can't use petroleum because it hurts the environment. It's going to kill us. And the jury really objectively is still out on that. Really, I'd prefer to see it if they had an antitrust legislation. Well, they already do. They just don't enforce it. Why don't they split up the petroleum companies? For right now, they control, a petroleum company like BP controls everything to do with exploring for the oil, striking the wells, and pumping it out again, right? So, maybe they should enforce the antitrust rules and have them split up the companies. So somebody, if you want pure capitalism, let it work, you know? So split up the companies like it should be, that somebody gets paid to pump as much oil. The more oil they pump, the more they get paid. And the people that have the oil, then there's a supply there, and the people that are pumping the oil have an incentive to know the supply and to report that honestly. And then the oil companies can then make their refined products and shipping and the vending of all the petroleum. And really, I think there's a lot of suppressed technology out there. But to get that technology developed, they need people, individuals like me, who need to have their primary business doing well. I mean, I'm getting crippled by the gas prices. I'm a carpenter and live in a rural area, I have to haul myself and my tools and materials to a remote job site and then come back to my place again and then go back out there if the job requires it. And I could camp out there, but people just don't like you to camp out on the work site, you know. That's kind of frowned upon a little bit. So I know that there's better ways to do this, but in this environment there's going to be no innovation or new technology developed by individuals who have an incentive to do it, because we're crippled all the time by getting gouged by the petroleum companies, and the government is complicit in that. So that's the green rule. Whoever has the green makes the rules, right? That clout, that money, that position, to pinch all the little guys off so they can be king over all of us. And they consider regular people like me as animals at their feet. So I wish that the government would do their job. Right now we need a person like Teddy Roosevelt to get everything back online, really. Because if he knew what was happening today and the supply that's available and how it isn't being distributed, because oil will go bad. If it's not, I mean, they can't store it in tanks for that long before they need to get it off to the refinery, because it's a biological thing. Oil rots. Petroleum is an organic thing, and it goes bad if they don't get to it. And petroleum also a continuous thing. There's been many places where they find an oil field and then they test it and say, it just isn't ready yet. Maybe we'll switch to another part and come back to this. And they have. And this is really suppressed in some places. I mean, oil is a non-renewable resource. Well, how did it get there in the first place? It must have been produced by something. And this whole thing of geological time, let me tell you what, I think there's been a lot of revisionist history, and there's editions of publications that aren't published anymore because powerful people don't want it to be published. So you have to consider all these things, really, when you think about that. And Technobricks, we can have a debate about this. We'll trade off videos, you know. You do, why not? That's a good way to do it. That's what YouTube is all about. So here's my vlog. I pretty much think that the whole green movement is an instrument of control to keep the little innovative guy down, while the status quo just keeps on rolling on. So things for you to consider. This is AugustusLarch.